Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020 as we're beginning the month of August and continuing on the road to Mayhem as we're moving on to Nitro live from the beautiful Quest Center in Omaha, Nebraska, as it's time for Nitro, and the show starts out with the announcers going over the big tournament matches of the show, including Shane Helms versus Gigantes, Goldberg versus Reno, Jeff Jarrett in the main event versus The Truth, and Eddy Guerrero versus Teddy Hart. And then we go to the opening match of the evening is Shane Helms in the opening match of the Mayhem tournament taking on Gigantes. And this gets 73 as the opener. And, okay, actually a pretty solid match here. I keep on forgetting Helms and Tomko are an awkward pairing. But yeah, I'll deal with that in a moment. But regardless, this is actually a fun little match. Like, I forget, like, Helms is, like, despite being a little bit of a disappointment as world champ because he never, like, broke through, is still a really, really good worker. At least in this version of reality. And Gigantes, isn't terrible. I mean, this is basically sort of your, like, chicken shit heel, hitting his shots. Gigantes throwing... comes around, Helms eventually taking advantage, hitting big super kicks to knock him down. But how this actually ends is how you'd expect. Is ref bump. Helms actually goes for the big super kick. Gigantes grabs him, has him ready for the choke slam. Tomko comes in from behind, big boot from behind, picks him up, cut wrench powerbomb. Nightmare from Helm Street. Ref wakes up. 1, 2, 3, and Shane Helms advances in the Mayhem 2005 tournament in a little under 10 minutes. 77, perfectly solid match. Helms gets an 87, Gigantes gets a 49, and post-match, of course, Helms and Gigantes go to put Helms and Tomko go to be bound on the former Helms Legacy member Gigantes, once and for all, when out of the crowd comes Canyon, and he comes in, slips in behind, tries Tomko, boom, cannon cutter, turns Helms around, boom, cannon cutter. As the answer's put over, they'll be facing off in the second round on Nitro. This gets an 83. Basically puts over, what's we're looking for here. Canyon as a top babyface, saving Gigantes here, and Helms and Tomko being dastardly heels as 83, solid stuff. Only a couple minutes post-match promo, so it didn't quite get it got capped a little, but really solid stuff and builds up, the upcoming matches in the tournament. So there we go. Then we go backstage where Jeremy Borash is with Goldberg, and Borash basically asks him if he's ready to compete in this tournament. And Borash, Goldberg says, I helped bring WCW to its highest point. But I admit, for the last little while, I've been distracted for what should be always my goal as the man is the WCW World Championship. But tonight, that ends. Because Reno, you're in my way. But the reality is, everybody in this tournament is in my way. So everybody, whether it's a friend, whether it's a foe, or it's a stranger, you're all next. So good promo, setting up, Goldberg's refocus on the world title, as this gets an 80, fun stuff. Oops. Didn't hit the right button. And then, I forgot they didn't click. So, then we have our next match in the tournament as Jack Evans and Jonathan Toro face off. Evans comes down to a decent face pop from the crowd. Jonathan Toro actually comes up to somewhat, he hasn't been seen in weeks, basically ever since he lost his last big match, I think it was Slambury. I'll have to double check that, and even he wrestled the Roman Legion went up for everybody. He comes out here, still his Roman Legion get up, and, he does his brawling and his power stuff to take advantage of Jack Evans. Evans fights back from underneath, gets a few high spots in. Eventually, Romeo Lavernius comes in, sort of do interference, but actually, as part of, springboard, Evans gets out of the way. Romeo nails his leader, Jonathan Toro. Evans takes advantage and actually just hits a big, big poison rana on Toro. Drop kick to the back of the head, rolling reverse cradle. 1, 2, 3, shocking win. Jack Evans moves into the second round of the tournament, and Jonathan Toro is shocked. Unfortunately, they don't click, so this one gets a 66. Evans still gets an 81. Toro gets a 62. And yeah, I don't think there's any good Toro going too far, but if you did, honestly, nobody's out of the prediction tournament yet, but there we go. Gets 66. Most important is post-match. Just, Evans, raises his hand in victory, goes to the back, and Toro is very upset in the ring as Romeo and Swinger are standing there, and he basically says, I was gone, trying to refocus on my empire, and I come back here, and what do I get but total incompetence from those who should be my future Caesars. Why can't you do what I tell you to do? Eventually, Swinger, interrupts him and says, Johnny, this just isn't working. Look. And, like, he sort of, like, stopped the full Roman stuff. Look, me, Romeo, we've been stuck here. Well, you went back to Italy, doing whatever you went and did in Italy. I'm sure you're doing your best to refocus, but you lost. We screwed up, and I admit that. But this is your fault, too. And Toro gets mad at that, says, you should bow to your emperor. And Swinger fires back, Toro, I don't got an emperor. I'm just a man named Johnny. I'm sorry, but we're done here. And then they both walk away as Toro is very upset in the ring, and I think we've seen the end of the Roman Empire. Or the Roman Legion, sorry, not the Roman Empire. That's a totally different thing. This gets to 56 as Swinger isn't that over, and Toro came across well, but he also didn't do a script, which is interesting. But fun stuff, and yeah, so here's the thing. Romeo and Swinger never got over as I wanted them to, and I sort of stopped pushing them, and I sort of, like, Toro, honestly, okay, I'll be honest, like, him having no chemistry with O'Hare totally, like, destroyed, like, obviously I could have done other stuff with him, but totally wrecked him, so I just sort of, like, stuck him off screen for a while, and I have an idea for him for the rest of the year, and we'll see how it goes from there. But, you know, sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. So, there you go. Anyway, moving forward, we go backstage, where Chavo, you know, is talking to Alex Wright, and, you know, Chavo basically, you know, tells her Wright and says, you know, man, look, I'm busy with my own tag team, but, you know, Tori talked to me last week, and obviously you guys have been having some trouble as a partnership. And Alex, you know, says back, Chavo, I have all the respect in the world for Tori, and she's been a great manager for me, but I need to focus on myself and be on my own. Because I've been unfocused, and it's cost me, as you saw last week in the tournament. And Chavo was like, look, man, we were tag champs before together. And look, with Yoshi out, and we're not part of the tournament, you're out, unfortunately. I say, why don't we just try teaming up again? I'll go talk to Bischoff, and I'm sure we can get a match, you know, in the next couple weeks. Wright thinks about it for a second, and says, you know, fine. I can't get another match with Awesome, and I'm out of the tournament. So yeah, talk to Chavo, talk to Bischoff, and we'll see if we can get together back in the ring. This is because we have a re-team up with Terry out due to the injury of a former tag team champions in Chavo and Alex Wright, as this gets a 73. And then we go to the backstage where Jeff Jarrett is in the back, and he says, once again, I'm in the main event where I should be. A 4-time WC World Champion and the chosen one of professional wrestling. And truth is slap nuts. You're nothing but a fly on my shoulder, and I want to swap you away on a road back to the top. I've been all over this world, and I've been sick of where we've been, and no fast-talking punk is going to stop me or his little friends. So truth, killings, whatever your name is, just admit you're going to fall to my stroke. So good promo, 97 from Jarrett, as, you know, puts over the big main event tonight versus the Truth, continuing, you know, the feud with the babyface, you know, group that has been feuding with Chosen Feud for the last couple months, and, you know, reminds everybody he's a former world champion, and he's going to rise back to the top. 97, good stuff, because Jeff Jarrett is really good. And then we have a fun little segment as first Evolution come out, and then count out their opponents, who are Prince, Osei, and Skipper. And Osei takes the mic before the match starts and says, Ric Flair, you are the greatest wrestler of the world. And you've been with all the beautiful women in the world. But remember, right, WCW has never been the Ghana. So, tonight, I can make one call. And the most beautiful women in the world are from Ghana. I can have them here over tonight via private jet. If you just ask your protégés to walk away and allow me Alex the win. I know, not the best thing, but that Flair says, oh, Rowdy is Prince. Here I can do the Nature Boy. And I can get any woman I want in Omaha. Because here, by just styling and profiling, I don't need your charity. Woo! And Nature Boy says, Evolution, get the fight in. And the match is on. So, you know, little pre-match angle here, but unfortunately doesn't go well for Osei and Skipper, and the match is on. This gets a 55. Not bad, because Osei's not that over. Then we have the actual match, which gets a 54. Fun stuff. Basically, you know, pretty straightforward tag match. Skipper and Osei do some like quick tag action. They stay in control with Cesaro. Cesaro eventually, you know, takes back advantage, starts throwing them around. There's some heel work from Osei and Skipper to keep control. Eventually, Cesaro hits a big suplex on Osei, then hits a big leg on Skipper, tags in Blaster Lashley, who comes in and he just wrecks him. Like, throws him around, eventually picks up Skipper, Dominator, 1, 2, 3, and in a little under 6 minutes, Evolution get another win here on Nitro, as this gets a 54, Skipper gets a 62, Osei gets a 58, Lashley gets a 30, and Cesaro gets a 53. Fun stuff. And post-match, Evolution celebrate to the cheers of the crowd, and the announcers put over this young team may just be the future of the tag team division on Nitro. And then we go backstage, where Eddy Guerrero is talking, and he says, "John here, man, I'm talking to you. You're already into the tournament at Holmes. We've been circling each other for the past few months on this show. You see, these morons in the crowd may not remember, but I remember you took my spot at the top of this company, and you became the new golden boy. After I signed here to become the top dog again. And now you're down with the dogs. I'm going to prove, after tonight when we face again, that that was nothing more than a fluke. Hey, Teddy. I got all the respect in the world for the Hart family. The kid, Guerrero family values, says you're not ready yet. So you're walking in to a true dungeon tonight, and it's nothing personal. 99, because Eddy is freaking great, and sort of like, puts over, pushes forward a possible match with Sean O'Haire in the future, and, sort of like says he's underestimating Teddy Hart, which gets a 99. And maybe he shouldn't underestimate Teddy Hart since his partner got the win tonight. And then we move forward to, okay, yeah, this was sort of, I should have done some different booking with cameos and such. Oh well, let me see here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's my own fault. Oh well. Anyway, lights go out, and Morningstar comes out with Kai Graves and Wrathchild and Killswitch, Seekers of Sin, and he says, "As the message told me, the dead will have in reform are more powerful than ever. And if you haven't noticed, the leader of the Nest has abandoned his post since the bash, and now we are stronger than ever. Even in defeat, the message provides. And we will rise and control WCW sooner than later, as the message has been foretold, and nobody can stop us." Q, Macias coming out along with the Prophet, and Macias is sort of a wild animal, wanting to go down, but Prophet is stopping him, and Prophet takes mic and says, "Morningstar, I know about the true message, not the perversion you talk about. And wherever Raven is, we are ready for a final war." And they come down, and there's a fight, and despite it being a disadvantage of 4-on-2, Macias is Macias, and he throws around folks, and before eventually W officials break things down, and yeah, this gets a 57 because I forgot that you can't have on-over people fighting for that long. Shit happens, we'll move on here. It's unfortunate, but I'll figure it out. But then we fire back with Goldberg killing Reno in 5 minutes. This is a Goldberg match. What do you expect? It's, versus a lower card guy. Goldberg kills him. Reno gets a little bit of brawling right at the start. But this is Goldberg, top guy Goldberg, just going over him. And this, again, only goes 5 minutes. Reno maybe gets a little bit of offense in, eventually reverses it. Gut wrench, spear, jackhammer. There you go. Thank you, drive through. This only gets a 59. Goldberg gets a 90. Reno gets a 60. Short match. And there you go. Nothing fancy. And then post-match, Goldberg celebrates to a 73. And then we go backstage, where, actually we see that, the Undertaker's throw to, this was taped earlier in the evening by the WCW camera team. And we see Stacy arriving in a limo, and she basically walks, directly to Kaz and Yang, as, the camera follows her. And, she basically tells them, "I've been busy with all the high-paying jobs that your bosses promised me, and I've been given when I was asked to back them and when I was asked to manage you. But I've been busy with that, and I thought I had confidence in both of your abilities to be successful without me. But I look on television, and where are you guys? You see, this is why Nkayo gave me the job of managing you, because obviously you cannot do it on your own. So, I have a goal for you, and the first step will happen next week." And then she looks over and notices the camera and, guides Kaz and Yan to walk away from her. And this gets to 77. Basically, Keebler was legitimately off TV because she got a TV role. So now she's back. We can, build that into the background and sort of reboot the Nikio. Since obviously I've sort of been using them as like jobber to the tag team stars with Keebler gone. But good stuff. 77 because Keebler is actually really good. Charisma, mic, all that good stuff. And then okay. This should have been the main event. I know because I know Jarrett and Truth isn't. I mean, there's a chance Jarrett and Truth might break this, but like Jesus Christ, Eddie, you gotta stop dragging like very good but not great workers to freaking force 5-star matches all the time. Okay, I mean this was literally like the best. This was an insane 10-minute match. Like very top guy versus undercard babyface. Teddy flies around, hits his spots in, but like every time he gets a few hot moves in, Eddie, takes hits a reversal, hits a low blow, does some cheating, does some Eddy Guerrero stuff, and takes back the advantage. But Teddy looks like he's going to get the big win with the big sort of like, his big like double moonsault. Eddie gets his knees up, takes control, Blue Thunder Bomb, Brainbuster, Frog Splash, 1, 2, 3, and your winner advances to the second round is Eddy Guerrero. This gets a 90 because Eddy Guerrero is freaking great. He gets a 94. Teddy Hart's still really good. He gets an 82. And even Teddy was off his game, which is interesting. But yeah, fun stuff. And again, this maybe should have been the main event, but what can you do? And then post-match, Eddie's sort of like upset, like this kid like tried to take it to him. So, he hits him with another, attack afterwards and goes to the concerto. First, Evans comes down to, help his partner, but Eddie's ready for him, beats him down. But then Sean O'Haire comes in, saves, runs off Eddie. They have a stare down as their, refs put over. There's going to be Eddie and Sean O'Haire in the next round of the tournament, which gets to 94 because these guys are really good. Fun stuff. And then we have the Revolution recap focusing on, Keenan Sharp, AJ Styles, and Ken Anderson all getting wins last week on Revolution and advancing in the tournament. Then we have an in-ring promo from The Truth. Basically, doing his rapping stuff, on Jeff Jarrett. There's jabs at his, daddy giving him a silver spoon, the chosen few, and there's a line, something along the lines of, you talk about 4 world titles, but they were all about 6 days each, some Russo jabs, and there you go. Good stuff. Again, I'm not going to try to do a rap. It's an 81. Fun stuff. And then we have our main event. So here's the thing. This is either going to have great chemistry and they're going to like a 92, or it's going to be slightly disappointing to get like a 77. Okay, yeah, 82. I mean, not bad. Like, this isn't, like, terrible or anything, just sort of disappointing because of the main event. But anyway, like, this is a fun little match, and, I mean, these guys had lots of matches along this time. Look around, we got some brawling, we got some back and forth, we got some Jarrett cheating, Truth fighting back, and eventually, like, everybody, like, nobody gets directly involved, but Jarrett, like, Jarrett tries to go for his guitar shot thing. The ref is ready for it, tosses the guitar. That allows Truth to take advantage, hit a few big moves, eventually Truth or consequences. And in a stunning victory, 1, 2, 3, the Truth gets the victory over Jeff Jarrett here and advances in the Mayhem tournament. 82, Jeff Jarrett's a 93, Truth gets a 74. Jarrett was not happy about jobbing, so too bad about that. This gets an 82, and post-match, the babyfaces, are very happy, despite, putting over his brother Ray versus Truth in the next round. And the chosen few, the chair is very pissed as the chosen few come out and face off against. This gets an 80, and overall the show itself gets us a 90. Okay. So, yeah. Hey, turns out it's help happening a 99 and 97 promo, even if your main event isn't the best. But fun stuff, and yeah, good show. And, I'm not shocked that, like, again, here's the thing. Even, like, booking wise, as in like how a wrestling company would book, Teddy Hart is not a main event. Like, Jarrett and Truth has a storyline, has a backup, so even if it is as good a match, it's the better storyline match, so it is what it is. I was also thinking of like throwing in some like random 6-man as the ender, but there's nothing like good enough to have, especially with sort of the world title focusing on Revolution at the moment. So it is what it is. And hey, it's Naoto Hoshikawa. No idea. Maybe he turned into somebody under a different name, but I'm not sure. Okay, news-wise. When Regal got a groin strain. Ouch. Oh, by the way, we lost the... Oh, right. I forgot. I didn't show you guys what WWE for Vengeance yet. Okay. Anyway, we lost the USA battle because we always do. So before I show you WWE, let me see. Independent Wrestling from Nashville. Matt Cross and the Harris Brothers defeated Ryback, Yankee France. I think that's... Is that? No, that's somebody else. And Mike Sampson. Native Blood versus Shane Tids. Keith Lee. So we had Keith Lee versus Aleister Black on a random show in Nashville. Fun. And yeah, nothing else really of note here. Chris Bosh. Not that Chris Bosh, but it's funny. Anyway, so yeah, let's go to WWE. Let's go to the beautiful Vengeance pay-per-view. Okay, so starting with the pre-show, CM Punk was on the pre-show. He defeated Rikishi. Viscera defeated Matt Classic. Then after, I guess, some quick promos, I'm assuming, to start the show, we had the opener of JBL defeating Grandmaster Sexy in 76. Sure. We had Justice, who is Abyss, defeating Randy Orton in a dog collar match. Again, okay. It's really weird. Like, I don't know. Like, Orton, I'll have to double check, like, Orton's stuff, because, like, he seems to do random jobs that makes no sense. Anyway, we had Skyfall Caleb Lyon, who you guys know better as Air Paris, defeating Devon Dubois, aka Brother Devon, to retain the WF European title in an 80. Then we had a very weird six-man, which of course got an 88, of Funaki, Chris Jericho, and Triple H, defeating Shane McMahon and Streets to the Suburbs. And if you remember, Streets to the Suburbs are Brian Kendrick and Homicide. Jericho got 100 because of course he did. Weird. Like, anyway, Molly Holly defeated Veronica Vane in random 87. Vampiro defeated Scott Hall in a 70. Let me see here. I'm guessing, yeah, these guys, not good. Then we had Billy Gunn defeating Christian Cena Richards to retain the IC title in an 80. Scott Steiner defeating Kane in a 79. Then we had Benoit and Taker defeated Top Shelf of Regal and DDP in a 99. Okay, and this is where I sort of get pissed at the AI, because DDP got a 57. I'm guessing because he's been really hit by the, like, falling, physical ability or whatever it is. But there's no way I could have somebody get a 57, even if Benoit got a 97, Rico got a 94, and get a 99 out of it. But, I'm not going to complain. We had a random throw of a triple threat as Big Show defeated Leviathan and Edge in a 98, and the main event of Shawn Michaels defeating Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. And it's sort of like my kid in here is Lesnar and Angle went after each other so much, and Michaels able to get the pin. And so then we move on to Raw. Well, first Nitro. Okay, so we got a 2.86, which might be our max. And they got a... Oh, they're in England, so ratings don't make any sense. Alright, so here we got Scott Hall and Street Suburbs feeding Rain Orton Little Fellas, Calum and Punk, who are part of the new DX, feeding the Outcast in a cage match. Got an 83. Jackie Gay defeated Shaniqua. Real defeated Maven. Kurt Angle defeated Rico in an 86. Molly Hall defeated Veronica Vane in an 85. And the main event in a random 99, Edge and Lesnar defeated Triple H and Chris Jericho. Like, okay, I'm just curious. Did Orton piss somebody off? Where is he? Oh, yeah. Like, let me just look at his personal info. No, okay. It's very weird, like, his match, because, like, he should be getting a strong push because he's, like, 85, but, like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to play too much about it. Anyway, so, tournament update, which I'll show you guys here. After Raw, which... Tournaments. There we go. So, it's going to be Chuck Palumbo versus Ken Anderson. Bill Goldberg versus Don Fry. The Truth versus Brother Ray. Oh, I totally went over the Goldberg Fry thing. Okay. Yeah, Goldberg celebrated Don Fry, did a stare down. Sean O'Haire versus Eddy Guerrero. Kenny versus Shane Helms. And Keenan Sharp versus Jack Evans. This is the only sort of second rounder that's going to be Nitro vs. Revolution, just because Nitro had slightly more singles rosters because of the women's division on Revolution. But everything else is still to be decided. So then, I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. And we are live from the Don Barnett Arena, in Rapid City, South Dakota, for WCW Revolution, as the announcers put over the tournament matches involving Booker T, Jamies Knoble, and Monty Brown, and of course the big six-man of Rey Jr., and America Swana taking on the Triumvirate of Kidman, Storm, and Awesome. Then we go to the ring for our opening match, which is part of the tournament. And it's a big upset here, as Jamies Knoble, is an angry man. He's intense. and he thinks he deserves better in WCW, and he goes right after Keith Walker. And he actually does throw him around, like, Noble's a little smaller, but, he's not, he's not like a tiny guy. And he has that undersized power, spark plug, heel energy. And he, goes after Walker's knees. He goes after Walker's shoulder. But Walker powers out of it, throws Noble around. Noble fires back, with some smart stuff. But, Tori at ringside gives Walker some tips. And as Noble actually goes for the, as Noble locks him in for the trailer hitch, he gets upset at Tori, basically, yelling, stuff at Walker for him to try to get out of it. He goes outside. He actually, confronts Tori on the outside. That allows Keith Walker to nail him from behind, roll him back in, and hit a quick, spear, which Noble tries to lock into for a hold as he grabs him, but Walker rolls through, hits a big suplex, and then drills Noble with a big knee, which temporarily KOs Noble just long enough for Walker to pick up the big pinfall victory here on Revolution and advance into the second round. This gets a 68, Walker gets a 45, and Noble gets an 87. Yeah, I know. So booking wise here, actually kept Noble strong here, which that's all he needed. And yes, sometimes if you want to try to get people over, which I'm going to try to do with Walker, you got to let people who are over lose to him. So 68, really solid match. And of course, post-match, Noble freaks the hell out as, he's just, he went away after losing, of course, a couple months back. He went back to his, home in the woods, and he thought he was, ready to roll, but then he's lost this big tournament match to Keith Walker, which means he is not going to be very happy as this gets a 70. Then we go backstage as Teddy Long. Ooh, this was not great. I'll double check what's going on here. Anyway, Teddy Long is in the sort of, backstage locker room with Rey Mysterio Jr. and Marcus Zamata, and Long basically says, he understands if A&W are upset that Chris Harris isn't part of the tournament, even though he was originally booked for it. But, this match, WCW tournament was more important, and we can't allow people to wrestle 2 times in a night unless they're previously booked for it in this tournament setting. So sorry, playa, we got to pull you out. And Harris says, look, I was ready to fight twice, but you think, Teddy, I know you got people on the roster who want an opportunity or other people, but they want to try to argue for somebody as a replacement for them. And Long's like, shoot, let me know. There's lots of guys. We're not going to let people who lost in, but there are people on the roster who want a shot. So tell me, who do you think should replace them? And Torment's like, look, we know a guy. We got a guy who's been doing some good work down south and has been fighting and brawling and clawing his way to the top. And tonight's a chance for him to pull off a huge victory and stun the world. And, in comes the future Trevor Murdoch in some worlds. Previously known as Trevor Rhodes, but now he is Trevor Slater. And, Trevor does his redneck stuff, thanks Teddy for the opportunity and everything. But Teddy's like, do you know who Harris was booked against first round? And Trevor's like, yeah, it's that Monty filler. Look, he's a big guy, but I can brawl with the best of them. And he's like, okay, player, if you're ready, let's do this. So this gets a 68, which I'm just double checking. Let's see here. What actually heard it? Poor gimmick. Right. Okay. That's weird. I guess I did actually give all these guys, so change gimmick. And okay, brawler, very good. That's good. So yeah. So we move forward. As then after that, we have Paul Heyman and Rob Van Dam coming out to the ring, and Paul Heyman takes mic and says, once again, here in Rapid City, South Dakota, as his advocate, I scoured the area to find the best man, the best young wrestler who's ready to get a chance from the best wrestler in the world today, Rob Van Dam, and get the opportunity to even have a match with him in the ring on national TV. So please welcome to fight RVD tonight, Nick Nemeth. Then RVD puts over, Nemeth says, this man was an All-American at college, so he can quite a fight against Rob Van Dam, as Rob Van Dam looks cocky in the background, as this gets an 84. And yeah, we have actually the future Dolph Ziggler, who's here in yeah, who's actually in South Dakota or Midwest, I guess, which makes, I guess, Ohio, but that's Great Lakes. Anyway, this game does weird stuff with where they place people. Regardless, Nemeth, again, like the other previous week, gets to look good here for a little bit, but eventually Van Dam takes over, hits a few big moves. Eventually, it's a 5-star frog splash. Cockily pins Nemeth as this gets a 70 in a little over 5 minutes. RVD gets a 91. Nemeth gets a 23. And fun stuff, as RVD and Heyman celebrate, RVD's pointing to himself, and the umpires put over. It's nice that Van Dam is giving these young wrestlers opportunities, but it just seems to be a way for Van Dam to feel good about himself that he's not part of the tournament. Then we go backstage, as of course we have the Triumvirate. Our Kidman has the world title belt, Austin still has the US title, Storm still has the TV champion, and Kevin basically says, look, we still hold all the singles gold that matters in this business. And tonight, Rey, look, you think this is beginning of a fairy tale, buddy? If it is, it's going to be one of those old school grim ones in the original German where there are no happy endings. Because there will be no joyous celebration, only more acknowledgement that I'm the best in the business. And after tonight, Teddy Long and the rest of the WCW brass will not be able to deny my men, Storm and Awesome, their rematch for the tag titles. So that after Mayhem, whoever has the cold shot, we will hold all the gold in World Championship Wrestling once again. 87, good promo, puts over the 6-man, and the match versus Rey Jr. at the pay-per-view, and all the other fun stuff later tonight. Then, so this, again, there's some going to be unhappy people, which I'm going to have to throw some cash to. So what happens here is it's Booker T versus Sonny Siaki, and, actually Booker looks pretty strong here. Siaki gets his shots in, but it really looks like Booker is going to get the strong win after hitting the axe kick when there's a ref bump, and in comes Cash out of nowhere, hitting Booker T from behind with a chair shot. Then he nails him with, a sort of a dead level on the chair. Siaki grabs Booker, nails him with his finisher, not a Boston Crab, and as ref recovers, 1, 2, 3, Booker kicks out at basically 3.1, and Sonny Siaki has advanced in the tournament. So this gets a 67. Booker T was off his game because he was not happy about doing the job here. I'm gonna have to throw him a big old maybe money afterwards, because again, here's my sort of feelings on this, because you just use money whenever you come in just to get rid of any backstage problems. When there's a legitimate reason for them to be mad, I let them be mad. But if it's something like this type of TV booking, which in real life, if it's part of a storyline, a wrestler would actually understand. But Booker's really over, so I get why. But we totally get. Okay, yeah, Booker, nobody thinks you actually lost. Siaki came in, he got the win because your feud opponent screwed you over. But here, Siaki gets the win, gets 67, Booker gets a 79, Siaki gets a 43, and what happens afterwards is, a little cheating, as Siaki is celebrating like he just won the title. Booker T is pissed, catches on the outside, but he notices Booker T has saw him, so he runs to the back. Booker T follows him, and they run all the way through the backstage area into the sort of parking lot. Eventually, Cash basically gets into a waiting car and slams door closed and drives off. And Booker T is very upset as we go to commercial, as this gets an 89. Fun stuff. But Booker's gimmick is getting stale, which I'll have to double check and remember to change. And then we come from here to backstage promo where Amy Weber is with Gail Kim and Alli Danger. As Amy reports over tonight, it's going to be Alli Danger versus All That Alyssa Alexander. And then she asks about Celine Cartier being in Alyssa's corner tonight. Well, Gail Kim will be in Alli's corner. Gail Kim takes mic and says, Amy, it doesn't matter. Celine, you failed when you went against me for the title. And look, as the head bitch in charge of the women's division, my protege here is going to destroy your little understudy and prove you're a failure in that as well. Now Alli takes the mic, sort of plays with her signature report game, sort of taps it on her shoulder and says, Alyssa, I've got blood in this business, and if you want to try to deny me what I deserve, well, you're going to be in a bit of danger. 72, solid promo, Alli Danger did her best, Gail Kim's pretty good, and sets up the, continuing feud. And then, we have a fun little promo as Trevor Slater comes out to the crowd and basically like introduces himself. Yeah, hey folks, I'm Trevor. I can't do a southern accent. I can try, but basically he says, I'm Trevor Slater. I know you don't know me. I'm gonna do my best tonight and try to put up a good fight against Monty Brown. And Monty Brown comes out and sort of like looks at him quizzically. It sort of shrugs and calls for the bell. As this gets a 73. Then we have the actual match, which isn't pretty. Trevor gets there's a little bit of a brawl at the start, but Monty Brown eventually takes over. Slater tries to fight back, but Monty Brown is a top level world title contender and could, totally possibly win this tournament. And Trevor Slater's a guy who just showed up tonight. So after 5 minutes, he gets killed. Pounce, boom, 70. Monty gets an 89 because he's great, and Trevor Slater gets a 47. So fun stuff. And post-match, Monty celebrates as the announcers put over. That's going to be a pretty surprising match of Monty Brown versus Sonny Siaki in the second round, as this gets a 73. And then we cut backstage where Booker T is very upset, and he's in the back, like pushing catering tables over, throwing chairs, all that good stuff. When first, Sherman tries to talk him down, and Booker sort of pushes away. Shelton comes in, tries to calm him down, and says he doesn't understand. Then London and AJ come over. There's look, I know about losing, and London paces around and says, "Sucker, I'm gonna get him. I'm going to get that." And then we cut as this gets a 78. Fun stuff. And then we have our sort of women's match here as back and forth match. Of course, both women are at ringside, but they don't get directly involved. They're just throwing, they're staring daggers at each other, throwing, throwing words of wisdom and insults at the opponents. And it's a back and forth match. Eventually, All That Alyssa Alexander actually gets the win here after a solid 10-minute match where they're both calling the ring because they spent time in AWQ and both have great psychology now. Well, not great, but 80s. And after 10 minutes, Alyssa hits a few big moves and gets a bit of revenge over Alli Danger here with hitting the Kudo driver and getting the pinfall. This gets a 64. Alli gets a 54. Alexander gets a 56. And post-match, the babyfaces celebrate as the heels are angry, as they stare daggers. And this gets 66. And even though Alexander got the win here, this feud does not seem to be over. And then we cut backstage where Chuck Palumbo is with Raven Reign. And he says, "Kenny boy, it's cute that you think a few wins means you're ready to step with the big dogs. But look, I'm not going to BS you. You got some talent and some moxie. And honestly, compared to a lot of the Boy Scouts around here, that you got that edge that you need in this business to be actually competitive. But, man, here's the issue. You're not matched up against Styles, you're not matched up against O'Hare, or that kid Jack Evans. You're matched up against me, the face of the revolution. So, Anderson, good luck next year, man." Then he walks away, sort of cocky, as this gets a 78, as only 4-minute promo puts over the Palumbo-Anderson second round match. And then first I have to hit the button correctly. We have our Nitro recap, putting over Eddy, Evans, Goldberg, and Helms. And then we have our main event, which, okay, not quite as good as I wanted, but this is a great 6-man match. Obviously, we're trying to keep Rey and Kidman apart a bit. So Awesome throws around Rey. Storm and Rey probably have some great match. A little in-ring action. Kidman fights with both members of AMW. Awesome throws them around. They brawl. Rey and Kidman get a mask ring. Rey actually hits a big top rope Rana on Kidman and gets a near fall, but Awesome runs in. Things break down. And eventually, Awesome is able to get the pinfall victory on Harris with the Awesome Bomb. Basically clean. 1, 2, 3 in the ring. As the crowd is not happy about that, but a big win for the Triumvirate. Even though Rey Jr. basically, had the match win earlier. So fun stuff as we continue to build up, this feud and the big world title feud. This gets an 85. Harris gets a 75. Storm gets an 81. Rey Jr., because he's freaking great, gets a 99. Storm gets an 88. Awesome gets an 86. And Kidman gets a 94. And the show ends with the heel celebrating as the announcers put over, after this, Teddy Long may not be able to deny Storm and Awesome their rematch. And the show overall gets us an 83. Okay. A little disappointing there, but I sort of get it. Outside of the, we didn't have any, 99 angles, on Nitro. And, yeah. So that makes sense. And the main event, I was really hoping for, a 90. But, hey, what can you do? And we'll see where we are as this loads up. Gotta love the... Alright. So email-wise, Lance, come on. At least nobody's unhappy. So, tournament-wise, first we'll go over the actual tournament, then we'll go over the standings of the prediction tournament. So for the actual tournament, so here's our total second round here. Chuck Palumbo versus Ken Anderson. Bill Goldberg versus Don Fry. The Truth versus Brother Ray. AJ Styles versus Keith Walker. Sean O'Haire versus Eddy Guerrero. Sonny Siaki versus Monty Brown. Kenny versus Shane Helms. And Keenan Sharp versus Jack Evans. So. And here are your prediction standings. I've sort of like renamed some people's predictions to make sense. But, so it's still anybody's race, as you can see here. Like, everybody basically tried to see what upsets I would do. Some of you were successful, some of you were not. And even though like there are some people's semifinals predictions who are now out, nobody is completely out of it yet. But as we look at scores, Palumbo Potential is at a 10, Best in the World Shadow Max at 11, Monty Pounce is at 11, Zombie Kings at 11, and right now the leader is WCW's New Face prediction at a 12. But again, this is only the first round. Again, second round is worth 3 points. Third quarterfinal at the pay-per-view is worth 5 points, and of course the main event is worth 10 points. And that doesn't quite line up to what the site does. And also, of course, everybody got a free point because of Palumbo going over. Nobody in the buy, so you got that going for you. But again, still anybody's game, honestly. So yeah. But yeah, so that's that for that. So let's go over to the rest of the wrestling world. First, WWE had SmackDown. So they had, for SmackDown, Amber James defeating Cherry Slice to retain the WWF Women's title. That got a 68. Ivory defeated Veronica Vane in 74. Lion and Punk defeated The Outcast at 79. Triple H defeated Maven in Random 82. Gaza Bruja, Leviathan, Vampiro, and Kane defeated Christian Streets and Suburbs with an 84. Oops, let me look at that. I was just curious about something. Okay, yeah. Then we had Jericho defeated Rico in a 76. The Undertaker, and then the main event, Taker and Big Show defeated Angle and Gunn in a 98, because of course it was. But interesting stuff. Let me see here. Anything else of note? No, not really. Okay, at least not with that. So then we go to our Dev Feds. So NWA Wildside TV had JC Daz defeated Austin Creed. Matt Morgan defeated Champ Profit by countout. Adam Ortiz and Trevor Rhodes and Stone Mountain defeated Rick Michaels, Ken Suzuki, and Rayman in a 58. And Lazarus defeated Onyx. And then on their weekly house show, we had Kensuke, Rainman Creed defeated Ryan Drago and Rage Inc. And yeah. There's where my Profit was brought up because he's getting 66, but everybody else not quite there. Lazarus defeated Matt Morgan. Again, Morgan's really needs some time to cook. Adam Ortiz for Rick Michaels retained the NWA North American Heavyweight title. Again, he's a regen, so we'll see what I do with him. Cass Riley defeated Matt Cross. Again, Matt Cross is somebody who might become a part of the Cruiserweight division sooner than later, but we'll just have to see. So Southampton defeated Trevor Rhodes and Stone Mountain between the tag titles and Rhodes' last match down in Dev territory. And then everything else was people Wildside have signed up. So then we go up to AWQ, who had a big week as they had their regular shows, and they also had their monthly big show. So for weekly show, we had Portia Perez defeat Annette Blanchard, who's a regen, 31. Tracy Taylor, ODB, and Michelle McCool defeated Amazing Kong and the Mega Women. Nobody's really quite there yet, so that's interesting. Madison Clare defeated Mischief and Madison Eagles. Fun stuff. And the main event, Ariel defeated Becky Bayless in a 65. And then we have Ladies Night, which had ODP and Annette Blanchard defeated Amazing Kong and Carly Chambers, who's another regen. Madison Clare defeated Portia Perez in a cage match. Sure. Tracy Taylor, Miho Osaka, and Becky Lynch defeated Madison Eagles and Mega Women in a fun match there. And Ariel defeated Michelle McCool in a cage to retain the AWQ title. So there we go. Yeah, and that's about it for them. So if we go to HWA Weekly, Jorge Estrada, Drew Onyx, and Young, who I think is, Silas Young, defeated Chris Cage, Falaba, and Sean Davari. Honestly, interesting, but nothing really there. Annie Douglas defeated Andre Sear, who's a regen. And yeah, not much else really going on. Jimmy Jacobs and Alex Shelley still here along with Excalibur. Sure. Interesting stuff. And then we go to OVW, who had Weekly Loop. So Capital and Shark Boy teamed up to face Sean Casey and Trailer Park Trash, and actually a pretty solid match. Shark Boy got a 70. Shaggy 2 Dope defeated Sean Cena by DQ. Of course. Sarah Stock defeated AJ Sparks. Riptide and Chantel Flair defeated Alez and Evangeline Chambers. Danny Dorn defeated Chuck Taylor. Conway and Mamluk defeated Haas and Page. And Joy Ryan defeated Too Tough Tony by count at 62. And Bradley and Pewter retained the Southern Tag titles. And then for the Saturday, John Morrison defeated John Cena in a future Raw match, hopefully for them. Riptide defeated Ivy Velez. Captain and Shark Boy defeated Shaggy Dope and Russ Haas. And yeah, nothing else really there. So that's OVW. Then so Integrity had their first year anniversary match. It got a 60. 362 people in attendance in New Jersey as we had Brian Gable defeat Brian Major. Brian Major's, oh god, I forget who he is. Vito Tomasello defeated Tony Tizzy, sure. David Young working around Ice Train defeated Doug Basham and Future Shock. So, yeah. Shane Ballard and Tony Casino defeated Savio Vega and Flash Flanagan. John Phoenix won a 20 wrestler battle royal to win the Ring of Integrity. So, fun stuff with there with a bunch of people on here, including some people you'd think, some regens, Davey Richards, John Moxley, John Walters, Incognito. It's very interesting like who gets a push here with much of the real life indie folks either in Japan or on our roster, WWE roster. Jerry Lynn defeated Damaja. And the main event, Perry Saturn won the Champion of Integrity in a 62. So fun stuff. Then if we go to the news stories, which I always forget how to get to, there we go. Was there any other results I wanted to show you guys? Nitro, Vengeance, Anniversary of Integrity, Ladies Night. Nope, okay, nothing else really going on. So, if we go to our storylines, of course, we have Against the Darkness is at a 68 after that very bad promo, which hopefully will reboot. Carolina Blood Witches, I'll have to maybe readjust, is at an 85. Chosen Backgrounds is at an 83. Cruiser Stuff is at a 50. Evolution is a Mystery is at a 69, as we'll advance that sooner or later. Commence of Taste, which I should have thrown Stacy in, which, you know, could have got itself an 80, though. Candy Helms, again, is at a 88. Top Guy Stuff's at an 85. An Advocate is at a 83. DC Nerves Disorder is at a 59. Helping Your Understudies at a 64. Noble Strikes Back is at a 38. New Rivals at a 79. Old Rivals is at a 78, as didn't have time for them. Revolution Rising at a 79. And Razor's Revenge is at an 83. So that's it for now. If you notice, like, next event is British Assault, but that's going to be a show where I don't do a video for it, because it's basically like the equivalent of WWE's like old Insurrection shows where it's just for the British audience. So I'll go over the results basically next week, but like it's I'm not gonna say it's out of continuity, but it's basically like, you know, kind of out of continuity. As like brand split won't matter, all that fun stuff. But anyway, that's it for now. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and give it a like, comment below what you're liking and not liking. You know, complain about like, you know, what matches you aren't doing on your predictions. You know, all that fun stuff. And of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of other TEW 2020 content, including this series, my Ring of Honor series with Cody Rhodes, which will make a return this week, because I already did the video for it, a Journey of Wrestling stuff, and then hopefully maybe some, in the near future, some more Paradox stuff and Basketball GM. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.